So SquadLocker takes real pride in our customer reviews. We've got 6,276 reviews on Trustpilot with what I consider an impressive rating of 5 out of 5 stars. Not easy to do over so many interactions. But what we thought would be fun would be to take a dive into some of our worst reviews. In fact, our 1-star reviews. So let's take a quick read through on a look back in time, some recent and some old 1-star reviews, and see what we've learned from those experiences. So this review comes from a user by the name of Cardane99. And Cardane writes with their 1-star review, which has been verified, which means it's a real user. That shit is way marked up. That shit is way marked up. Period. Nope. Exclamation point. There is too much competition. So price has always been something at SquadLocker that we're wrestling with, because we want to deliver the right product within the right time frame at the right experience level, and that has unique costs. But we're also sensitive to the fact that budgets are limited, resources are scarce with youth sports organizations and schools, and parents have a lot of competing needs for what they're trying to use or stretch their wallet to accomplish every week. But we fundamentally came to the place where we recognize that delivering an outstanding customer experience with a no-hassle return policy and doing it really, really quickly requires certain inputs that we just can't eliminate in order to get to the lowest price. We've tried to combat that with, different merchandising approaches. So while we sure carry the shoe brands like Nike and Adidas and Under Armour, and those are in fact some of our more expensive products, we're always very conscientious to include products that may be more price competitive and giving people the opportunity to buy a variety of different price points that meet their needs. So, Mr. or Mrs. Cardane99, I hope you had a good experience despite the fact that you may have paid more than what you had expected. And I can assure you that if something had gone wrong in your experience, we would have satisfied you regardless of what it costed us in the end. Okay, let's move ahead to the next review. Customer writes, so this is an anonymous review. The logo looks like doo-doo on the clothes. The logo looks like doo-doo on the clothes, period. Have someone review the logo that's uploaded. Looks good on my end, but not when the clothes come out, dog. I love that. Well, dog, I'm sorry you feel that way. We use a lot of human labor to manage the artwork as it comes into our system. So the first thing we do about artwork and the way we manage artwork is every logo that's delivered to SquadLocker through users is looked at by a human being. We do that for a variety of reasons. One, we want to make sure we're not violating any license agreements or using a logo that is proprietary that we don't have the rights to, like a professional team or an NCAA team that's licensed. The other reason we do that is we want to make sure there's nothing offensive in the logo that would upset other people that would visit that store. But most importantly, we look at the logo because we want to be able to interpret the art that you've given us and make sure that it's going to replicate on the clothing in a manner that is feasible. Meaning, like, if you put too large or too complex a logo that's on a hat, it'll be very difficult for us to consolidate that piece of art into a small space and embroider it. There's just different requirements for different types of art going on different areas of a garment. So that's the first part of our kind of intensive front-end process as it relates to art. More importantly, we want to be able to anticipate the colors that you've given us and express them on the clothing in a manner that reaches your expectation. So at SquadLocker, we don't send out samples and say, is this your blue? Is this your red? Is this your orange? We take the data you give us, we correlate it to the next closest professional or collegiate sports colors, and then we kind of snap to those colors and send you in the mail something that you would recognize as a sporting goods color. So like a Yankees navy or a Cardinals red or a Harvard crimson. And there's great certainty and likelihood that your youth sports team or your school is using the similar colors that the professional sports teams, the collegiate, teams are using and the big brands are using. So that's what we do as it relates to processing art. As it relates to actually affecting the art onto the garment, well, there's an enormous amount of science and technology that we're using to make things look good. We want your logo to express itself in a way that looks the right opacity, meaning it portrays itself on the garment so the garment doesn't grin through the actual artwork when we're printing it, or when we're embroidering it, it doesn't look too clustered or too dense, that it looks smooth, beautiful, sharp, that the logo can be laundered properly. It can stretch and retract as the garment does, so that there's no dimensional differentiation between the actual printing technique or the embroidery technique and the actual substrate or the fabric that we're putting it on. So unfortunately, anonymous customer, it sounds like we didn't do a great job for your garment, but I can assure you that there's an enormous amount of effort, logistics, science, and technology that is going into everybody's logo when it comes into the company. But rest assured, if that garment didn't come up the way you wanted it, we have a no hassles return policy. You just got to hit the chat bubble or email us or reach out in the way that's most convenient to you. And we're going to make sure you get what you want in the end anyway. As I'm looking at the anonymous customer review that said his or her logo looks like doo-doo, I'm noting that it's from October 20th, 2017. So this is a slightly older review. And one of the cool things about SquadLocker as a company is it's ever evolving. So the methods and tactics that we use to decorate garments in 2017 are many generational cycles different than the equipment and processes and chemistry that we used then versus what we're using this week, in fact. And I expect through additional research and product development that in the next 6 to 12 months, we'll probably be doing things equally different today than we were doing in 2017. And that's the fun part about the company is we're always investing in new technologies and perfecting the way, we approach these different problems to make sure people are satisfied. All right, let's skip to our next review. Let's see what monster awaits in the jungle. Okay, here's an interesting one from a gentleman by the name of Bill Lyles, a 1-star review. And I'm going to note the date here, February 2nd, 2021. Buyer beware. The sizing of items from this place is all over the place, such that it's impossible to order with any confidence. And if what you order has any kind of logo on it and the size isn't what it's supposed to be, guess what? There's no way to refund or replace the item. My general policy is to not make online purchases from stores that do not have a return, replace, refund policy. I broke that rule here. Knowing how hard it is to size something properly, right? Well, guess what? I was wrong. Never again. If you choose to buy from here, just beware. Now, this is really interesting to me. One, I'm sorry that this gentleman had that experience. This may have been the genesis, and these types of reviews were the genesis around our no hassle return policy, because it's never our intention to have somebody buy something that it doesn't fit and make them obligated to keep it because it's customized. There's a bunch of really unique features around the technology that we built that make our ability to make one of anything at any time super fast and super efficient. So that we're really capable, and what we've discovered is we're really capable of giving Bill Lyle a replacement. Sure, we're not going to make money on his order, but his customer satisfaction is far more important to us over the long haul of the longevity of this company than the profitability of his one single order. So from comments like this in 2021, we enacted our no hassle return policy, which pretty much said we're not going to win every time, but we want to make sure Bill wins every time. And it's really interesting to look back at this review from 2021, knowing now we're in 2024, our total, and I think I'm statistically near correct on this, we have about a 2 to 2.5% replacement rate at SquadLocker. So about 98% of the orders that go out, nothing really happens with. About 2% of the orders, we're going to have to either credit, give them replacement, or somehow resolve. It's quite low relative to normal return rates. Conversations I've had with some management over at Foot Locker, for example, their return rate on footwear is around 20%. 1 in 5 pair get sent back. So we're really, really proud about our return and refund rate at SquadLocker. But the other unique aspect is if we don't get it right, well, we make one of everything at any time super fast. So our ability to actually replicate, replace, and refund is so frictionless that doing so for customers like Bill Lyle open up a bounty of customer sat and customer loyalty by just helping him or his child or his partner get what it is they need when they need it. So this is a real part of a journey here at SquadLocker where we've just fundamentally shifted to a customer's always right. We always wanted the customer to always be right, but we can financially afford it relative to the incremental cost of replacing the item and getting that satisfaction. So it's a stinging 1 star, but I know there's a really happy ending to the story and a much improved customer experience for all our customers after this. So good review to read. So here's an interesting review, a little bit back into the SquadLocker review time machine. We're headed back to September 14th, 2017. Geez, scary to think 7 years ago. I mean, what a journey. Millions and millions of logos, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of garments shipped across all 50 states, millions of dollars raised for fundraising that has hopefully gone to impact leagues and schools and clubs around the United States and help kids reach their full potential. But Pablo Rubio writes with his 1 star sharp barb, site is too heavy. That's fascinating. I didn't know that sites had an actual critical weight, as in mass. But Pablo, I get your spirit. The site felt too heavy. It delays page loading. Also, there should be a better integration between the store and the products. Last, I'd like to see an option to share the store via WhatsApp. Boy, Pablo, come back and visit us again. It's been 7 years, and the progress we've made around all of the topics that you're talking about have been integral to the success of SquadLocker. One, our images used to load very slowly. We used to cache them, not cache them. The engineering team went through various journeys to understand how to unburden the graphics speed and computing speed around the stores, the product images, the logos that lay on top of them in layers. And it was quite a complex problem to solve. I know that we have gone from using a third-party graphics app that was hosted by a different company to actually writing our own code over time and hosting all those images on our own cloud servers. And the speed, the loading speed is just almost instantaneous now. So this used to be a big problem for us. And SquadLocker's had a lot of technical challenges along the way as we've had to do way more transactions, way more product loads, image caching, replicating products visually, also managing live inventory feeds to see if things are available when people are looking at them. I mean, the complexity of the integration that we have from our system to our vendor systems to third-party applications, it's a massive, elegant machine. So I would invite Mr. Rubio to try again. Mr. Rubio, if you're listening, I would love for you to reach out to me directly, and I'd be happy to give you a $100 gift card to set up a store and try again. It would be my pleasure to welcome you back. As it relates to integrations, since that time, over the 7 years, we've developed a ton of different APIs and integrations, and it's very likely that we are probably integrated with the app or community that you're currently using for different, parts to manage either your child's experience or that of your own. So he ain't heavy, he's my brother is really the conclusion to Pablo, the site is too heavy. Okay, moving forward. No exchanges whatsoever, plus they don't, from Coach Sanchez. April 2nd, 2019. No exchanges whatsoever, plus they don't even try to help you with exchanges for wrong sizes. Coach Sanchez will never buy from this site. Again, all caps. In fact, all caps. Coach, I hear you loudly and clearly. This circles back to our no hassle return policy. People like Coach Sanchez and others certainly convinced us that no hassle return policy was critical to earning customer sat and customer respect and customer retention. So, Coach, if you're out there and you're listening, we want to make it easier for you. So we've listened to you, and we've implemented a no hassle return policy to make difficult days like this just a thing of the past. Okay, what do we have next in our grab mailbag? This is an anonymous review from 2017. Again, back into the SquadLocker time machine, a stinging 1 star. And by the way, on Trustpilot, so you know what I say, when you do well and you get like 4 or 5 stars, it's all green. But when you get 1 or 2 stars, it's red. And it makes a difference when you're reading them. Hey, okay, anonymous customer. Anonymous customer writes, offer free t-shirt with a code free T. When you try to order, not valid response, never order from site. Wow. Man, we tried to give you something free and it sounds like it was difficult, so now you don't want to order from us. I'm not so sure you intended to order at the beginning, which was a really interesting experiment that we ran back in 2017, which was, if we give somebody a free tee, will they in turn use our site for other things? And we got a massive response to using this code for free Under Armour locker tees. We partnered with Under Armour Corporation to offer a free Under Armour locker tee, moisture management tee, in exchange for setting up your store and getting things going. And free works for traffic. Free doesn't always necessarily work as a business operator for value creation. So I think the long tail analysis of this story was people may want free, but that doesn't mean they're going to convert to pay. Anonymous customer, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. I don't know if it necessarily worked out for us either. Maybe we just part as friends. And the discussion topic around unhappy customers or difficult customer experiences, what I've learned in operating this business and any other businesses, in every difficult customer experience, there's a massive opportunity for further engagement. Not only do you learn, you get the feedback, you figure out what you did wrong. You should, as in my opinion, always come straight out forward with a mea culpa, which is, hey, I'm sorry. I'm listening to you. That was not our intended outcome or customer experience for you, and we take full responsibility. I think it's really important when you're representing a brand or managing a brand to take responsibility for the brand's actions and to accept what went wrong immediately. The other thing that happens is there's a bridge that's not too far to cross typically, where the person came to you for a reason. And if you take the time to resolve the friction, the loyalty can actually amplify. Now, that may mean doubling down on effort. That may be spending money above and beyond what was originally expected. But for me, in my career, and something that my dad taught me early on, watching him run his business, is the value of that customer is so precious, and everybody within every company is responsible for every customer. From, the most basic employees' responsibilities all the way up to the CEO. Everybody's responsible and serves the customer. So when you find these instances where customers are in need, it's really an opportunity to kind of double down and say, let's make sure this customer gets what they need immediately. Let's fix what we've faulted. And then if we're lucky, we'll retain the customer. But right now, we just got to make sure that they get what they wanted and that they're happy. And I think if you take that approach, you'd be surprised about the benefit that streams out of those types of experiences. They can actually also be really kind of gut-checking, gut-wrenching, and humbling, and it connects you with the understanding of why you started your business, the products and services that you're offering, whether they're correctly designed or not. I mean, staying connected to your customer, good times and bad times, is just critical for the success and journey of any company, in my opinion. So there you have it. That was our not so great review of reviews. Lots of 1 stars, but certainly dwarfed by thousands of 5 stars. But my experience, I don't know if it makes sense when you hear me say this, but it's easy and dulling to get good reviews. It's invigorating in a way to get a bad review, because it really serves me as a business operator to understand my purpose. And you can get lulled to sleep and you can glorify great reviews. And great reviews are important because they're a leading indicator that we're doing a good job. And that's super important for us at SquadLocker. But the bad reviews serve an incredibly important purpose. And so, as much as I don't like to acknowledge them, you don't want to kind of face them, boy, you're better off looking right at them than you are looking away. Because, my dad and his partners used to say, business problems aren't like fine wine. They don't get better with time. And so the faster you solve them, the better off you are. And so that's the lesson. That was our review today of our 1 stars. Hopefully you're a 5-star customer. And thanks for spending some time with me.